Hi there, I'm Liam and this is my entry into the Hackaday Prize. I'm looking to do a universal remote but with Bluetooth low energy. So what I'm holding right here is a NRF 51822 module. So the idea of putting Bluetooth low energy into the remote is to give you two-way communication between the home theater PC or whatever you're driving with the remote and the remote itself. So another thing I want to include in the remote is one of these LCDs, preferably a memory LCD or an e-ink display. This is a sharp memory LCD on this board here. And the LCD can show you things like remaining playtime, what's playing next, maybe what episode or some trivia, something like that, without disrupting the main content on the screen. So you can just have this sort of at a glance at the side without popping anything up on the screen or requiring you to press any buttons. So I have two main ideas of how I want this to go. The NRF 51822 has an ARM core built in, so you don't need any external microcontroller with that. It has a lot of pins which can be used for USB, UART and I2C, I2C even. Whereas this one here is, I believe, the NRF 8001. This is meant to be a slave chip to a microcontroller and connects via SPI, I think. So the benefits of that is I can use a Zero Gecko chip or one of the other EFM32 chips, which I think are great chips, and they have such low power consumption. They'd be great for a project like this. You can put the NRF 8001 into sleep mode, and then combined with this EFM32 chip in sleep mode, the power consumption would probably be lower than using the 51822 on its own. And using an external microcontroller, you can scale it up and down as you need. So if I decide we need 12 UARTs, then I can just pick a microcontroller that has 12 UARTs. Not sure if one exists, but there are a few other things I want to put into the project. This is a very low power. What's the focus? This is a very low power accelerometer, so this could be used as an interrupt to wake up the remote, for instance, when someone picks it up, so it can go into sort of a sleep mode while it's led down, maybe even stop updating the screen or do it less frequently. And when you pick it up, it can be there ready. This is a slightly less low power, but this is a 9-axis IMU, so it has magnometers and compasses, that sort of thing, and it's gyroscopes. So maybe this could be on the board, turned off most of the time, but turned on when it's needed. And then you could do funky things, maybe like change what macros are on display based on which direction you're pointing. So if you point the remote towards your stereo, it can show up your stereo functions. That would be quite cool. This is like a BlackBerry style scroll wheel. So I'm gonna see if that's any good for controlling, say, a mouse within a home theater PC environment. But it would be good if it was. I've also thought about using a sort of track point style nipple mouse. So if I can get hold of one of them, I'll try one of them as well. These also have RGB LEDs under them, so you can make them glow up, which won't be very useful but might look cool. So the main feedback I want from this project is the sort of remotes people like to use. So let's start off with quite a bad one. It's great for playing games, but not very good for controlling Blu-rays. You need two hands. The button feedbacks are really good though. So one of the things I do with my remote is scroll through massive lists of TV shows and movies and pick one. So I think if you could speed that up, that'd be better. And I think the PS3 remote is really good if you need to scroll through massive lists. You can sort of use this analog stick, so I'm not sure I'd put an analog stick on a TV remote, but maybe. But if you want one-handed uses, there's this sort of PS3 sex toy remote thing, and it's sort of a reduced set of the functionality of the main remote, and it's actually quite cool, I think, and they're like really cheap because they don't really have a use. So yeah, I just turned the PS3 on. Anyway, the Sky remote here. This is actually one of the most common remote controls in the UK, because Sky is is the main satellite TV provider. So this is the Sky Plus remote, which is sort of your, if you're not from the UK, your TiVo, I suppose. And they're really bad, I think. The numbers wear off after about a week. They're these cheap, horrible, rubbery buttons. I don't know if they're particularly great for scrolling through long lists. It's got this rubbery back which feels quite cheap. Yeah, I think we can do better than this. One remote which sparked the whole idea is this Sony remote, which is for one of those, do you remember those original Google TVs? The really bad ones based on Honeycomb. It's actually a really nice remote. It's got this sort of small touchpad which clicks. It's got all the buttons you'd want here. The buttons feel really nice. They're sort of hard plastic, but they've got a good click to them. And then on the back you have this full QWERTY keyboard, which doesn't feel that great to use, but it's fine for searching through YouTube and stuff. So maybe a QWERTY keyboard on the back would be good. And they've also made quite good use of these side buttons. So for things like volume and mute, which I actually quite like the idea of. You're used to it with your phone, so why not with your remote? The original Xbox remote, I imagine a lot of people use this with the original XBMC, and again that was fine for scrolling through long lists. It doesn't work so well connected to the PC, I don't think, using like an IR receiver, but it used to work quite well on the Xbox, so there's that. This is another cheap remote, and to be honest, I might even take this one apart because it's useless as it is. But it's another one with a QWERTY keyboard on the back, and it remains quite slim. The buttons are god awful, but there's that. This is the remote I use most of the time. It's got this sort of big circle, which is a mouse, so you up, down, left and right. It's absolutely useless as a mouse, but it's quite a nice home theatre PC remote for the price anyway. And so those are the sorts of remotes that I use on a daily basis, and I'm not particularly happy with any of them, but I wondered what remotes people use most of the time, and whether they like them or not. I've played around with a few of the Logitech Harmony remotes, which is sort of, I suppose, an inspiration for this project, but I'm not happy with any of those. I think they're overpriced, they got quite low functionality, and I think and they're closed source as well, which is obviously a bad thing. So this is my diagram of the two systems and how I'd expect them to interact. So this project meets the connected device requirement fairly obviously. It uses Bluetooth to connect a remote to a home theatre PC. My planned use of open source software is interesting. I plan to write some open source software. I'm not sure entirely what will be useful to me, well, GCC I suppose. I'm going to look into IRC to see if there's any sets of remote control codes or something, so that I can have a nice stock base of remote controls that I can emulate, because things like the Logitech Harmonies have a large base of these remote controls for various devices, of which I do not have all of. So hopefully that can make a nice base there, but I expect a community effort to create new mappings, let's say, which could be useful in other remote control projects and IR blaster type projects. I'm going to prototype this using the modules that I've shown really. I don't have any particular plans to start hacking on the software, so I'll share up GitHub or something as soon as I get that going. And yeah, please feel free to ask any questions. I'll try and answer them quick as I can.